We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Well, we might be in the middle of September, but it feels like the middle of summer. What a beautiful night for baseball. And it's game 2, the Cardinals and the Brewers. Yeah, they've been serving up that health food since 1970 around here. Chris Davis back in the lineup tonight. 2 hits yesterday, including his 21st home run of the season. But the big home run came from that guy. Jason Hayward proved to be a game winner, had 3 hits last night, and the Cardinals winning the opener. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Sophia Minard, our reporter tonight. Well, Chris Davis is back in there. There's no Ryan Braun. There's no Adam Lind. But Davis and his home run power is becoming quite the story for the Milwaukee Brewers. And, Rock, after Gerardo Parra was traded to the Baltimore Orioles, that really opened the door for Davis, and he's took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's the key for Chris Davis. I mean, if he's not playing every day, he's got the kind of swing. You really can't count on him to do a whole lot. Every now and again, he'll hit one out, but right now, playing every day, just about out in left field, you can see the stroke. I mean, he's been able to be patient at the plate. He's been able to really time that stroke very well, and, you know, it's not just the home runs. I mean, he's hitting some mammoth shots. Doesn't have to pull the baseball. Nice, quick hands on the inside part of the plate, and Davis certainly making his mark this year. He's on a roll to maybe pass Ryan Braun. We'll see how he does.
It would be interesting because he's got 21 this year. Braun has 25. Davis in there tonight. Lucroy's out. Sophia will give us an update on his status and also a prestigious award that Lucroy will receive. That's coming up next.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota, see where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Game 2 of this series between the Brewers and the Cardinals getting ready, just minutes away from first pitch here at Miller Park. But today we are celebrating the life of Roberto Clemente. It's the 14th annual Roberto Clemente Day, and baseball honors Roberto Clemente by bestowing the Roberto Clemente Award presented by Chevrolet to the best players who have positive contributions on and off the field with community involvement, sportsmanship, and Jonathan Lucroy is the Brewers nominee this year. They're one of 30 club nominees. He was honored before the game today by representatives from Chevrolet and the honor flight as well. Jonathan Lucroy knows it is a tremendous honor for one of game's most prestigious awards.
Obviously, it's a huge honor. I mean, we got guys in this team that do stuff, and we take a lot of pride as players to help other people out and then give back when we can. So I know personally for me that gives me a lot of satisfaction, and I feel good about myself when I do those things. So it's definitely an honor to be named the nominee for it.
Jonathan Lucroy honored for his work in the community. He will remain out of the Brewers lineup as he heals from a concussion, but Willie Peralta is going to the mound. Martin Maldonado will back him up. We've got first pitch coming up next.
Across Major League Baseball, honoring the amazing life on and off the field of Roberto Clemente. And as Sophia just mentioned, the Clemente nominee for the Milwaukee Brewers, Jonathan Lucroy. He will be sitting this one out, still experiencing symptoms from concussion. 75 degrees here on a September night. And we are ready for game 2 of this 3-game series. The St. Louis Cardinals coming into play tonight after their win over the Brewers last night. They have a 3-game lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates, 7 up on the Cubs, and the Pirates and the Cubs are in progress in Pittsburgh tonight. We'll be tracking that game for you. Here's how Mike Matheny lines them up tonight. It's brought to you by Potawatomi, Carpenter, Piscotti, and Hayward at the top of the order. Last night, Jason Hayward, 2 doubles and that decisive home run. Middle of the order is Peralta, Molina, and Wong. Tommy Pham gets to start in left field with John Jay and Jaime Garcia rounding out the St. Louis 9 that will face hard-throwing right-hander Willie Peralta.
Yeah, Willie making start number 19. He's got a .414 earned run average and a 5-8 record. He's making start number 13 against the Cardinals. He's 4-7, but he's 0-4 in his last 5 starts against the Redbirds. He got a no decision his last time out. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs against the Pirates. in the 13-inning victory for the Brewers in Pittsburgh. They won that game 6-4. Now check out the Menards Brewers defense here tonight. Well, it's a left-handed lineup, a left-handed pitcher lineup. A lot of right-handers in the lineup. Davis, Schaefer, and Santana in the outfield. Hernan Perez at third base. Segura Herrera up the middle. Jason Rogers gets the start at first. And Martin Maldonado once again behind home plate.
And there is Santana in right field for Ryan Braun, who is out of the lineup tonight, saying he has a bulky back, and there may be a little more to the story according to what he had to say before the game. And for that, let's bring in Sophia Minard.
That's right. Ryan Braun scratched with lower back tightness, something that he said was feeling tight yesterday, was feeling a little bit worse today. Craig Counsell saying it's something that has been bugging him for a few days. He's just been playing through it. They are hopeful that he'll be able to return tomorrow, but with back injuries, these things are day to day, so they'll see how Braun feels tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Good update, and that's a big bat out of the Brewers lineup tonight. And the Brewers, of course, do not have Adam Lind in there either. So two of their three best home run hitters are out against the left-hander Jaime Garcia. So we'll see how the Brewers put the pieces together tonight against the lefty Garcia. And that means Willie Peralta knows he'll carry a heavy burden tonight. Peralta against Matt Carpenter. Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward. First three up for St. Louis, and the first pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike, and away we go. Great to have you with us tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers and the Cardinals will finish their series tomorrow, and then the Brewers will bring in the Reds. A weekend series, final matchup against Cincinnati, and then the Brewers go on the road, one last road trip. Chicago to play the Cubs. Go to St. Louis over the weekend, and then to San Diego before returning home to face the Cubs to finish the season. Coming down to the end there, partner.
Yeah, it is, and everybody wants to finish on a high note. You know that it's been a disappointing season, but the Brewers have an opportunity. If they can play some pretty good baseball, put some monkey wrenches into some seasons for a couple of teams anyway, the Cardinals and the Cubs.
Hit hard left center field. Long run. Schaefer at the wall. Oh, and it's in and out of his glove. As he hit the wall, the ball sprung free. And Schaefer upset, looking at his glove. Why couldn't you hang on to that one, he says.
That perfectly timed leap out there in the left center. Schaefer gets a great jump on his baseball. He gets there. He has the ball in his glove. Just pops out. Hits that padding pretty hard. There you see the ball right off the fingers. He thought he had it for a second, just couldn't hold it. And a good start to the night for the Cardinals.
So here is Piscotty back in the starting lineup. Cardinals are getting healthier by the day. Matt Adams returned to the lineup yesterday. He's off tonight, but a bat off the bench for Mike Matheny. He was out with a quad injury, actually had to have surgery mid-May with that injury. And Matt Holliday is back as well, and he's not 100%, not even close, but he's back on the active roster. He's been going through regular drills, batting practice, running drills, and everything he needs to do that convinced the Cardinals that he was okay to be activated.
Yeah, activate him. Don't have to use him because of the September roster expansion. And you know, why not? You can use him off the bench maybe. Matt Adams got 3 at-bats in yesterday's ball game and then was taken out, so it's a little bit like spring training for him.
And so in the meantime, Stephen Piscotty getting time in that Cardinal batting order. Got Tommy Pham in left field tonight, Holliday's normal position. Piscotty moving from left field to first base for this one tonight. And Piscotty's been very good for him. He's only posted 200 plate appearances in the big leagues this year. He's hitting .323 and has 4 homers with 30 runs batted in.
And he's been pretty good in these situations, hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position.
And a leadoff double by Carpenter. That's in there. A called strike 3. Piscotty is out.
And 96 for Willie Peralta on the inside corner. Well, the velocity pretty consistent for Willie. It was that 2-seamer. and gets the call from Mike Machlinsky.
So after the double, a strikeout for Peralta, his first out. And here is Jason Hayward. He was the tough out last night. Hayward, not only with 2 doubles, he walked, he hit a 2-run home run that snapped a 1-1 tie in extra innings. And his other at-bat, he reached on a fielder's choice. He was on base in all 5 of his plate appearances yesterday.
And pulled the ball every time up. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, early in the season, he couldn't pull the ball if he tried. Everything into the opposite field, into left field, but hit everything hard into right and right center last night.
Shatters his bat. Peralta had to get out of the way of the bat head. The out at first. Perez makes the play. Carpenter does advance. Well, that almost hit Peralta, that helicoptering head of that bat. It's a pretty sharp edge on that thing, too.
Yeah, right off the end. That good sinker from Willie Peralta right off the end. Easy out, but the tough part of that play was for Willie to get out of the way of that bat. And Willie 1 out away from getting out of this mess in the first inning
after a leadoff double. So here is Johnny Peralta facing Willie Peralta, no relation. And Peralta sends one inside for a ball. Johnny Peralta had an RBI yesterday, drove in a run, the first Cardinal run to tie the game. It was a good game last night going into extra innings. Each club had their chances to score more runs. Great pitching last night. Ariel Pena started for the Brewers, and I don't want to call it a spot start, but it wasn't a start where they were expecting distance out of him, and he went 5+. But that guy right there was on top of his game, Carlos Martinez.
Incredible. Mike Matheny says the best he's thrown all year. 8 innings, 1 run.
And it's not just what he did on the mound executing pitches. His overall game last night was very impressive. He made one of the best plays that you've ever seen coming off the mound on a slow roller down the third baseline. It was on a bunt, and that really changed the complexion of an inning. There's a little half swing and a little looper out to Segura to end the inning. Peralta had him fooled. A scoreless start for Willie. Now the Brewers are coming up. Brought to you by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Little pyro to get us started with the roof open. Craig Counsell, year 1 as Brewers manager, taking over for Ron Renicky. And Counsell learning every day and evaluating every day. And he's got a lineup that he's trying to figure out how many of these guys will be a part of next year's roster. It's all brought to you by Potawatomi and Gene Segura back in the leadoff spot. Chris Davis on that great home run binge right now. He's on a great roll at the plate with 21 home runs. All but 7 of those coming since August 6th, believe it or not. And there's the left-hander, Jaime Garcia. And Rock, it's been quite a year for him. Big bounce-back season for Garcia.
Yeah, and he's one of the better left-handers in the league when he's healthy. He's been on the disabled list twice this year, making only start number 17, but 8-5 and a great 233 earned run average. And Garcia first appeared with the Cardinals in 2008. He's got a 50-31 career record, so he's been pretty consistent when he's been able to stay out on the mound.
A native of Mexico. He's 29 years of age. Pitched in just 7 games last year, just 9 the year before. So this is real progress, making start number 17 here tonight. Injuries have really cost him over the last couple of seasons. Had a very impressive rookie season. That was back in 2010. He won 13 games, had a 2.70 ERA. And then the next year, 2011, that was the year the Cardinals won the World Series. He won 13 games that season as well. Has not been that healthy since. Segura, chopper toward the middle. Here's Peralta. Nice easy hop for him. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, check out the Cardinals defense, brought to you by Menards tonight. You got Tommy Pham, he's out in left field. John Jay in center. Jason Hayward, the big hitting star in last night's ball game. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Piscotty from third to first. And Yadier Molina behind home plate. Pham's third start in left field this year.
All the talk about Hayward's bat last night. Remember, he's a Gold Glove Award winner in the outfield from last year as a member of the Atlanta Braves. Has 2 Gold Gloves in his career, as a matter of fact. Excellent defender. Hernan Perez at the plate, hitting second tonight for Craig Counsell. Comes in batting .282. Has a homer, 17 RBIs.
And it makes it tough when your 2, 3, 4 hitters are out of the lineup, right? I mean, Lucroy, Braun, Lind. Makes it tough to score runs, but we'll see how these young guys are able to put together some offense.
I feel like there's a stirrup theme going on tonight. Perez rolls one to third. Tough hop. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Are you in or are you out on the stirrups, partner?
I like him. You bet. Anything throwback for me, I like. I think they got together and said, you know what, this is the bomb squad, the B guys, and we're gonna look good tonight.
The striped stirrups. Those are new this year. Matter of fact, the first guy I ever saw wore them was about halfway through the season. Brewers bench coach Jerry Narron. Whatever it takes. Maybe there's a few hits in those stirrups tonight. Jason Rogers batting third in the Brewers lineup. Well, you know he's loving this opportunity.
Just wants to get at bats.
Rogers, a good hitter, has been a great hitter through the minor leagues in the Brewers system. Was actually the Brewers minor league player of the year a few seasons ago. And trying to get on some footing here in the big leagues. Right off the end of the bat. And he'll take it himself. Piscotty unassisted. Inning is over. We go to the second, scoreless.
A weekend matchup of division rivals this coming Friday through Sunday as the Brewers and Reds square off in a 3-game series here at the ballpark. Plus, as part of Fan Appreciation Weekend, fans can enjoy prizes and giveaways all throughout the series. For details, go to brewers.com/fan appreciation.
Second to last weekend at home this season. The ground ball by Molina, jumping on the first pitch. Yadier is out on a 4-3 put out. And Peralta, after giving up a leadoff double, has retired the next 4, has a strikeout. Looks like he's got good stuff tonight. Good velocity early. A lot of movement.
Now you can tell early on when he's got that 2-seamer going. Not so much of a sink, but a hard tail. One of those fastballs that will eat up right-handers and get lefties off the end of the bat. Late break on it. And get that slider working. Throw a few change-ups. You know Willie would like to finish strong after spending 2 months on the DL. Have good feelings going into the All-Star, or I should say the offseason.
He was out from the 3rd week of May to the final week of July. Returned July 28th in San Francisco. He's been in the rotation ever since. Coming off an outing against the Pirates where he pitched well and the Brewers won the game. He just did not factor in the decision. That was a game the Brewers won in 13 innings, the lone victory in that series. He went 6 innings and 2 earned runs. Peralta has not beaten the Cardinals in a while. He's 0-4 in his last 5 starts against them. Does have 4 career wins in 12 career starts against St. Louis. Has an ERA about 4.4. He'd like to get back to winning ways against the division rivals and the class of this division for so many years now, and it looks like they're on their way to another division title if they can hold fast and finish strong. They're 3 games up on the Pirates starting play tonight.
Yeah, it's not just Willie Peralta that's looking to get into winning ways against the Cardinals. The Brewers in general need to figure out a way to beat these guys. Cardinals have had their way with them for a couple of years now. Different guys in and out, all about pitching in St. Louis.
Now their pitching staff is as formidable as any, and that's why if obviously they're going to have a lot of folks choosing them to make a run to the World Series because of that great pitching staff. Adam Wainwright's actually throwing side sessions, trying to come back from an Achilles injury. As Wong draws a walk, so Peralta went with a breaking ball, 3-2. And Wong takes it. First walk issued by Willie. I'll bring in Tommy Pham. Pham getting some playing time tonight in left field. Been around a little while. The late bloomer to the big leagues in the Cardinals system. He came up last year briefly. And this is his 37th game of the season this season. 27-year-old. And a lot of years in the minor leagues. He signed with the Cardinals out of high school. He signed as an 18-year-old. And a decade in the minor leagues before he finally got a chance in the major leagues last year. And he was back in AAA this season. AAA Memphis.
Gotta love it, don't you? Just keep sticking around, see if you get a shot.
Well, he hit well in AAA this season. He had 327. Snap throw to first. Back in time is Wong. Cardinals don't do a whole lot of running, but the 2 guys in their lineup tonight that do run, Hayward and Wong. And you might see him try to take a base here. Wong has 15 steals.
He's been experiencing problems with his calf. So that slowed him down a little bit. We'll see if that keeps him at first base. Hayward stole a base last night.
Pham has a very good eye, and even at the big league level, he's an impressive plate discipline. He has 14 walks already and just 105 at bats. Hit .327 with 6 homers and 39 runs batted in at AAA Memphis. Did all that in 48 games. Had an on-base percentage near 400 down in AAA this year.
Yep, on-base percentage here with the Cardinals 100 points higher than his batting average, so that's pretty good. I mean, Willie spent a lot of time worrying about Colton Wong, and because of that, having a difficult time throwing strikes. Objective number 1, throw strikes, worry about the base runner secondary.
Wong at first, a 1-out walk. And the pitch to Pham is ripped center field. That is way back and out of here like a flash.
Yeah, get behind in the count, worrying about that base runner. And then he come down the middle, and Tommy Pham able to knock it out of here into center field. Well, getting behind hitters a problem last night for the Brew Crew. Check this out. Nice short stroke on a 3-1 pitch. Fastball, and Pham hit it hard into center field, and Cardinals take the lead.
Banged off that batter's eye beyond the wall. Tommy Pham with his 3rd home run this season. 3rd career major league homer. And you're looking at this Cardinal lineup, and the bottom of the order is the part of the order you're trying to control. No Matt Holliday, no Matt Adams.
Looks like the Brewers want to take a look at that. I mean, according to the way Logan Schaefer reacted, he knew it was off the back wall, but I guess the Brewers satisfied that it was out of the ballpark.
Now that back wall is recessed about 8 feet beyond the regular outfield fence. And I think it clearly banged off the back wall and then came back, hit the top, that yellow line. So there's a little distance between those 2 walls. Ground ball right back to the mound, and Peralta stabs it. John Jay retired. Good reflexes by Willie Peralta. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, you got to be ready. You can see Willie falling off a little bit toward first, but able to get the glove up and get the out. Well, the home run ball last night bit the Brewers, but the home run came after an error. Tonight the home run comes after a walk.
And the theme is similar, though. These hard hit balls the Cardinals have had. The Brewers are not getting ahead in the count, falling behind, getting into hitters' counts. Pham was ready for it, turned it around in a hurry to center field. Here's the pitcher, Garcia. Ground ball up the middle. Segura ranging over, and he'll make the play to end the inning. So the side retired, but Tommy Pham, a 2-run home run. The Cardinals lead 2-0. The St. Louis left fielder, a 2-run home run, had an exit velocity over 103 miles per hour. Chris Davis, he's been putting up the big numbers on the exit velocity recently. That home run binge continues. 104.6. Look where this ended up against A.J. Burnett. That was last Thursday, up and over the hedges. And then Sunday, another home run to center field. This one went 409 feet. Only 94 off the bat. And then last night, how about another one to center field? 102.2. It goes 416 feet. And you could say Chris Davis is dialed into the center field home run here lately.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he knows he's got the stroke going right now. Nice and quiet, nice and relaxed at the plate. Went out at 102, and you know, Carlos Martinez probably threw it in there at about 98, 99 miles an hour. So he can handle a big fastball.
Jaime Garcia starts him with a fastball away. It's always interesting looking at the exit velocities, and I think the one that impressed me the most was the one at 94. So that tells you he didn't get it all. He didn't quite center up on it like the other ones, and yet the arc of his swing, the ball flight, the way it exits off the bat, all of that produced a 400-foot home run from Chris Davis.
Yeah, because he's so strong. I mean, he barrels it up, but he gets under it just a little bit. And when most hitters do that, it's an out, you know, up on the warning track. But Chris Davis strong enough. He gets that carry and a good backspin.
Hits that one on a line to left, and Pham has to go down to his knees to make that catch. That ball had some serious tumble on it. And Pham, while it looked awkward, that's a very good catch for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that ball was not only sinking as it got out there, but hooking a little bit. And Pham almost handcuffed himself, but able to haul it in before it hit the grass. That's a result of that slight uppercut for Davis. He'll do that from time to time, and you get that sinking line drive into the outfield.
Reminds me of Jeff Bagwell, the way that top spin works. Here's Santana. Fouls one back to the screen. Domingo back in the lineup. He had a tough night last night. 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times. But this has been the theme, and I think it's been good for Santana. He's a big prospect for the Brewers after being traded from the Astros. He's a top 20 prospect, and for the first time in his brief big league career, he knows he's going to be in the lineup day in, day out. Really didn't have that luxury with the Astros. That was a very crowded outfield. And of course, traded to Milwaukee, went straight to AAA, produced there, played every day. And since he's been in the big leagues, he's been a mainstay, mostly in center field, but tonight he's in right with the absence of Ryan Braun.
He's basically been hitting anywhere he's been in the minor leagues. Just had a game last night where just overswing a little bit, and he felt as though he had a hole in his bat. He was on some pitches, some fastballs, but is not able to make contact.
And down he goes. So Garcia took something off, and another strikeout for Santana. He's in a bad spot right now at the plate. 2 outs in the inning. First strikeout for Garcia. Hey, it's now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WisDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. 2 up, 2 down. Here is Elian Herrera, switch hitting second baseman tonight. Boy, he made a couple of beautiful plays at third base last night.
He's done well no matter where Craig Counsell puts him, third base, second base, how to make the plays. Just hasn't been able to get him out of the lineup, has he? Craig Counsell just keeps him in there every single day, but different spots in the batting order, different positions, second or third. Can actually play short for you if you need. Great guy to have on your bench.
That ball's hit well, right center field. That is going to go out to the wall on a short hop. Elian Herrera with a 2-out double, driving one into the opposite field.
He's got surprising power, doesn't he? I mean, a much better left-handed hitter, but the more at-bats that he seems to get at this level, the more comfortable he becomes as a right-handed hitter. Drives that one into the gap. It's a nice short stroke. That ball was tailing away from John Jay. He couldn't get there, and Elian Herrera with a 2-out double.
That's a first hit of the game for Milwaukee. And Herrera extends this inning in the second for Martin Maldonado. Got Maldonado, got Schaefer coming up next. Schaefer is the lone lefty in the lineup tonight. Herrera the switch hitter. Maldonado catching back-to-back games. Been a while since he's done that. Lucroy, as Sophia reported, is going to continue in the unavailable category for the Brewers. Not on the disabled list. No need to put him on the DL with expanded rosters. But dealing with symptoms from a concussion, a foul ball he took off the face mask in Pittsburgh. And Lucroy, while he's not worsening, his conditions are not improving at the level where he can play again. He is doing some baseball activities.
Absolutely no reason to chance it. You just don't want to have him go back there and get hit with another foul tip and make matters worse. Not something to mess with.
Now, Lucroy, one of the 30 nominees, 30 club nominees for the Roberto Clemente Award. Very prestigious award. Community service involvement, and Lucroy, one of the best. And he's got a group here from Honor Flight, Wisconsin. It's a great charity if you're into military charities. And they charter a plane. They take veterans that could not normally travel. It's a one-day trip. They go to Washington, D.C., go see the monuments, and go to some special places and come right back. As Maldonado takes ball 4. So a little 2-out rally going for the Brewers. They got a double and a walk and 2 on for Logan Schaefer.
And Lucroy does that stuff. A lot of guys will do that and, support these charities financially, but he gives up his time just as much. No better on the Brewers deserving of that nomination for sure.
So Schaefer up there with a chance to do some 2-out damage. The lone lefty in the lineup, hitting in front of Peralta tonight. Schaefer's been swinging the bat well, and Counsell rewarding him with a start tonight. His playing time has been sporadic, mostly coming in as a defensive replacement, and then maybe he gets an at-bat or 2.
Double switch. He got a couple of hits last night coming in late. Actually got one off of the Cardinals closer Rosenthal. Tough duty. Jaime Garcia tough against lefties.
Schaefer had 4 hits on the road trip. Most of those were in pinch hit appearances or his first at bats after coming in defensively. This will be his 57th game. Tonight is his 14th start. He has bounced back and forth between the Brewers and AAA Colorado Springs. And a ground ball to second base. Wong will gobble it up. That'll be the side. And Garcia strands 2. 2-0 St. Louis. We go to the 3rd.
the third, and in talking about Willie Peralta's season, manager Craig Counsell described it as disjointed, largely because of the nearly 2 months he spent on the disabled list just before the All-Star break with the oblique injury, and said that Peralta since then has just been struggling to get that consistency that he showed last season that allowed him to win 17 games. But he said that in his last outing against Pittsburgh, it was 6 innings, a no decision. He said his first 4 innings of that game were the best that Peralta has thrown all season. And he said when Willie is good, he says when he's under control, he repeats his delivery, very workmanlike. So looking to get that kind of delivery back tonight.
All right, Sophia, thanks. This is such a key finish to the season and then an off season for Willie Peralta, who won 17 games last year. He was voted as the Brewers MVP last year, and he's dealt with injuries this season, missed those 2 months, as Sophia mentioned. Not only did he have an oblique injury that put him on the DL in the first place, but as he was trying to come back, he injured the other oblique. So I would imagine there is going to be attention to detail on the offseason conditioning for Peralta. As Carpenter sends that one deep to center field. Long run, Schaefer, and he's out of room. That one's gone. Another home run to center field, and the Cardinals lead 3-0.
You know, Matt Carpenter's back at it again. He was hitless in last night's ball game. Can't keep that guy down for an entire series. And a double to center field, and now a home run off the batter's eye out in center. Fastball got a little bit too much of the plate. Maldonado setting up away. Left it down the middle, just like the one that Pham hit out. Location issues for Willie Peralta.
That one goes halfway up the batter's eye. 3-0 St. Louis. Carpenter with his 22nd home run of the year. He's given up a little bit on the batting average to provide a little more power for the Cardinals. And a career high. Every home run he hits establishes a new career mark for Carpenter.
And Holiday, Matt Adams have been out an awfully long time, and he's had to pick up the slack. Realizing his team not scoring a lot of runs, he feels as though he needs to hit for some power. And as you mentioned, you do that, swing gets a little bit longer. You give up some batting average.
Take a few more chances with 2 strikes.
Expand the zone a little bit. Good hitter, though.
Steve Piscotty, strikeout victim in the first inning. And Peralta walks him.
Hey, this Friday the Brewers kick off Fan Appreciation Weekend with their annual scratch-off card giveaway. The crew takes on the Reds, and all fans will get a scratch-off card containing prizes such as free 2016 tickets, game-used jerseys, and more. For details, go to brewers.com/fan appreciation.
Cincinnati Friday through Sunday. And then the last 3 home games of the year against the Cubs. There's a close play at first. And Carpenter, or rather Piscotty, just back. They had him leaning. If the throw's right on the bag, I think Rogers is going to be able to get him. A home run and a walk to start the 3rd inning. Here's Jason Hayward. Takes a strike. We're keeping our eye on a number of ball games around the big leagues tonight that have postseason implications. You got the Cubs and the Pirates tonight. That is a pitcher's duel there. Jake Arrieta and A.J. Burnett. Scoreless in the 6th inning.
Yeah. Arrieta moving himself into that Cy Young talk.
No question.
He's got a good chance to win it.
Arrieta has the no-hitter through a no-hitter against the Dodgers in L.A. And comes in with 19 wins. 19-6 for Arrieta. Top winner in the National League. Arrieta's ERA is at 1.99. It's under 1 in his last 15 starts.
Yeah.
It's .99 in his last 15 starts. That's half a season.
He's got incredible stuff, but he's been able to put it all together. Stays healthy.
Ball and a strike on Hayward. Ground ball foul.
This guy's always had good stuff. I mean, it hasn't been a case of whether he has the stuff to be good in the big leagues. He's just been inconsistent, but certainly not this year.
Who gets your Cy Young vote in the National League right now? Zach Greinke or Jake Arrieta?
I got to go with Arrieta. Arrieta's got the 19 wins. Of course, Zach Greinke's got 17. Greinke at a 1.61 ERA. He's been tremendous. And Clayton Kershaw really not in the discussion right now.
That's hard to believe.
A 2.12 ERA.
He can't even get a seat on the bus for Cy Young.
He's got 14 wins is all. How about you?
I'm with you. I think Arrieta gets the nod. I think the no-hitter. I think Wrigley Field is a tougher place to pitch than Dodger Stadium. No disrespect, though, for what Greinke's done this year.
Right.
That's a tough call. You know, I could argue either case, make a strong argument either way. Ground ball to second. Herrera, Segura, fire to first in time in a double play. Boy, Peralta needed that one. After a homer and a walk to start the inning, Hayward 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat.
He hits it hard right on the barrel, but right at Herrera at second base, and that's as easy a double play as you can turn. You know, Clayton Kershaw right now has 264 strikeouts.
That's right.
I mean, he's going to strike out 300 guys this year.
Got a chance.
He's got a shot at it. Wow.
What a combination. Kershaw, Greinke. Cubs have a combo. They've got a complete game out of John Lester yesterday, and now Arrieta backs him up. Cubs are legitimate. Right now they're in the second wild card spot. They're going to the playoffs. The Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs, they're all going to the postseason. Just depends on whether the Pirates can catch the Cardinals. That would force a 1-game playoff in St. Louis with the Cubs, if all things kind of stay the same.
How much of the Greinke Arrieta discussion do you take? You know, the ballparks they pitch in, Wrigley Field and Dodger Stadium.
Right.
I mean, Wrigley Field a pretty good hitter's ballpark most of the time. Dodger Stadium's always been a great pitcher's park.
So the Cy Young watch is on. DeGrom, great year, not going to win.
Sorry.
Kershaw, great year, unless Arrieta and Greinke really falter down the stretch, he's not going to win either. It's a 2-horse race right now. Arrieta and Zach Greinke. Cubs have just scored in that game, as a matter of fact. Take the lead in the top of the 6th inning. Slow roller. Peralta does not run well, and Perez, that's a bad throw, but a recovery. Rogers, the catch and the tag to win the inning. Another home run by St. Louis, and they lead 3-0. as the Cardinals lead 3-0. And our carsoup.com trivia question. So in honor of Robin Yount's 60th birthday, the kid made his MLB debut on April 5th, 1974. Was he the youngest Brewer to make his MLB debut? This is a yes or no question tonight. And happy birthday to Robin Yount, the Hall of Famer.
60. Robin Yount? Can't be.
Looks 40.
Still call him the kid.
Absolutely. He's in great shape. You know, you can actually meet Robin Yount if you sign up for Brewers Fantasy Camp.
That's right.
He's coming out.
Well done. Coming out for 2 days during camp this year.
There it is. Brewers.com/fantasy camp. Or you can call 414-321-8605. Double headers every day. You get to live like a real major leaguer. Willie Peralta with a base hit. So Peralta singles to right. He had a little bit of fear as soon as that ball left the bat because it was right to Hayward, and Peralta might have been a touch concerned about being thrown out at first base like Trevor Cahill was last night.
Yeah, so he was booking down that line. There you go, Willie. Willie with his first hit this year. And a bullet into right field. Hayward, I thought about it.
He did think about it.
See, you can't do that in fantasy camp. You can't throw a guy out from the outfield.
That's actually a rule.
That's a rule.
It's illegal.
Yeah, that's a rule.
So you can take all day to run to first if you hit one into the outfield.
Yeah. We don't have many base burners down there.
And there's no bunting.
No bunting, no stealing.
But other than that, you play it.
It's baseball.
Legit.
Wooden bats.
Home and road uniforms.
Yep. January 31st to February 7th.
Full complement of the athletic training staff, which is probably the most important part of it. Segura trying to bunt his way on. That hit him. And saying he was in the box, the home plate umpire McClinsky, and that'll be a strike and not an out. Segura made an out on that very same play on the last road trip, where he bunted one and then he was actually out of the box when he made contact with the ball. This time he was in there. Good angle from here, and yep, easy call.
Not even close, both feet in the box.
A swing and a miss. Down he goes. So Segura strikes out, unable to advance Peralta. And one man gone with Willie still at first.
Yeah, if you haven't been able to tell already, Garcia not a hard thrower and relies on a different array of off-speed pitches. A very good changeup. He's got a slider, a curveball, and a very good changeup. We haven't seen too many of them, but we've seen some sliders, some two-seam fastballs. 92 to 82 speed range, not a big range, 10 miles an hour.
Here's Hernan Perez. And he's swinging at the first pitch. Speaking of Cy Young Award candidates over in the American League, they got a showdown series between the Rangers and the Astros. Texas won last night on a walk-off, so they leapfrogged the Astros. The Rangers are in first place in the American League West, and they've hung a 7 spot on Dallas Keuchel tonight.
Yeah.
It's 7-0 Texas going into the 4th inning.
Front runner in that Cy Young Award.
No question.
Yep. 2.22 ERA, 17 wins.
Keuchel giving up 6 earned runs in the first inning. Napoli and Odor both homered in the first. Prince Fielder hit his 20th just a moment ago in the 3rd inning. Prince is having one of those years where he is a leading candidate for comeback player of the year after neck surgery cost him a season last season. Fielder hitting for a high average. He's got 20 homers now. Man, he's been hot lately, and when Prince Fielder's hot, he can carry a ball club. It's a big part of the reason the Rangers are now in first place.
Hey, he was leading the American League in hitting for a long time. Not anymore. Hitting .312.
And so you look at a team like the Rangers, the Astros. Astros really weren't expected to contend until next season. Rangers look like they might be in a bit of a rebuild mode. But they went out and made a deal for Cole Hamels when they were closer to last than they were first. That ball is in the air to right and playable for Hayward. At the track, he makes a catch for the second out.
And both carrying tonight. Hey, there's only a couple of All-Fan Sundays left this season, so make sure you're in Miller Park this Sunday afternoon as the Brewers host the Reds, and all fans will get a Scooter Jeanette Garden Gnome courtesy of Waterstone Bank. Great seats are still available at brewers.com/tickets. Have you found yours yet?
I have not. It's been misplaced or mishandled.
Stolen.
Oh, it's just temporarily missing, I think. Once I remember where I put it, I'm hoping that happens before Sunday. Here's Rogers.
I'm sure you're going to get another one Sunday.
Rogers trying to give the Brewers a quick strike. He's not a big home run hitter. That's just 2 this year for Milwaukee. Two-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Brewers get a base hit out of their pitcher tonight. Willie Peralta, his first hit of the season. That led off the inning. Garcia with a strikeout and a fly ball out. Chance to get out of it. The Cardinals have 3 on the board and all runs coming on the long ball. Tommy Pham hit a 2-run homer in the second, and then Carpenter to center field last inning. Cardinals will head to Wrigley Field at the conclusion of this series. And for the Cubs, who start play 7 back, they were hoping to get within striking range, get within 3 or 4 before that series. As Garcia punches out Rogers to end the inning, so a leadoff single, left stranded at first. By Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. 3-0 St. Louis. We go to the top of the fourth at Miller Park. And a reminder that Saturday, MLB on Fox returns as the NL Central leading Cardinals take on the Cubs at Wrigley. And then the AL Central leading Royals square off against the Tigers in a game you can only see on FS1. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. on Fox, 6 p.m. on FS1. All of that streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Pennant race fever cranking up right now, getting closer to the postseason. The last game of the regular season is October 4th.
Cubbies and Brewers pack up on Sunday already and head off to Chicago. A 10-game, 11-day road trip for the Brew Crew. Just got back from a 10-day trip.
Brewers will see the Cardinals for a 4-game series on the next road trip, Thursday through Sunday. And it's interesting that the Cardinals go to Pittsburgh for 3. That'll be a key series, or could be a key series, depending on where the race is. But the head-to-head matchup with the team trying to catch the Cardinals, the Pirates. As Molina strikes out, he chased one. Down he goes. Second strikeout for Willie Peralta.
And Molina trying to get that bat start a little bit early with that velocity from Peralta. Swings it one out of the zone. You don't see that much from Yadier Molina. A pretty patient hitter at the plate. That's what fatigue does to you a little bit. I mean, you can't wait back. Your hands aren't as quick, so you start it a little sooner than you normally would, and you end up swinging the pitches out of the strike zone.
Here's Colton Wong with one away. He walked and then scored on the homer by Pham back in the second inning. 2-run homer by Pham. Solo shot from Carpenter accounting for the runs on the board. Chopper up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. Colton Wong is on with a single, his second trip on the base paths tonight.
Well, hitting the perfect spot right over the head of Peralta, and that second hop picked up a little bit of speed and into center field. Not much you can do about that if you're Willie Peralta. You got your ground ball, just found its way into center field.
So here's Tommy Pham. Has found his power stroke. Had a game-winning 2-run home run on Sunday. And then hit a 2-run home run in the second inning. And he knew it. This was off the bat in a hurry. And banging off the batter's eye in center field. Pham with his third major league homer.
Nothing like contributing in a pennant race when you come up and get a start. Guys get fired up over that stuff.
Pham made it back to the big leagues August 17th. Grichuk went on the disabled list. Has had a couple of call-ups in 2015. Didn't hit his first big league home run until July 5th. That was against San Diego. Started the season injured, had a quad injury. Something about the Cardinals and the quad injuries this season. Holiday and Adams. Adams' injury was so severe he had to have surgery to repair that quad. And Tommy Pham also with a quad injury.
That weight training is got a delicate balance. Too much, too little. They got to monitor that stuff pretty closely. Back in the old days, you didn't lift weights and play baseball. Remember those days? Baseball and weights don't mix.
They make you tight.
Right. You don't have the flexibility. That's changed a lot over the years. But you got to monitor it. You just can't start doing bench pressing.
Runner goes, swinging a high drive into left center field, and Pham will watch this one fly. That might be even further than the first. 2 homers today for Tommy Pham. And the Cardinals line up in the dugout waiting for him. 5-0 St. Louis. Tommy Pham have a day already.
Yeah, slider, and Pham able to get a big part of the bat on it. Knock it on out of here. Fastball his first time up. That time Willie left a slider down the middle of the plate. Big fly. 3 home runs now for the Cardinals.
Wow. 2 of them by Pham. Here's John Jay.
And that's the Colton Wong, Tommy Pham show tonight, huh? Wong gets on. Pham knocks him in with a home run.
Think you're catching a break without Matt Adams in there. No Matt Holliday. Pham, the first time in his career he's hit 2 in a game. Making the most of his playing time. And I'm sure he knows the situation as well. Understanding that Holliday's back and his at-bats are probably going to be even cut further, but he gets a start tonight. How about the card that Matheny pushes?
Yeah.
Moving Piscotty over to first tonight. And Tommy Pham all smiles. 2 home runs today. 4 runs batted in for Pham. Two and 2 to John Jay. Slaps that one foul.
Yeah, just find ways, don't they? St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, guys get beat up all season long. They're hurt. Offense hasn't really been there much. Pitching really gets them to 90 wins. You wonder how the Cardinals are going to look in the postseason. Bats going to come alive? You just don't know.
Familiar names and a lot of experience. But you don't know at some point. Their offense has been in question all season. They've gotten a lot of contributions from their minor league system. And guys that were maybe in different roles, as John Jay delivers one to right. Peralta looking like a short night once again here tonight. He just has not pitched well. He got off to a great start. Looked like he had good stuff.
Just getting too much of the plate with his fastball. It still has decent movement, but finding the heart of the plate too often. Can't do it.
Cardinals have 6 hits already. 3 of them in this inning in a row.
And Willie's had back-to-back no decisions. You had that rain-shortened one in Cincinnati, but he had won 3 of his last 4 decisions before back-to-back no decisions his last 2 starts. This one's not turning out too well.
Bullpen starting to mill around down there. 1 man out. Here is Jaime Garcia. Runner goes. Garcia fouls it away. Might have had a hit and run on there. Cardinals won in 10 innings last night, jumping out to an early lead tonight, 5-0. We play in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, the Cubs lead the Pirates 2-0. Bottom of the 6th inning in Pittsburgh, giving Arrieta a lead late. Arrieta's working on a 3-hit shutout. There's a bunt. It's a good one. Peralta goes to second and is able to get safe is the call. The ball pops loose. Well, if Segura can hang on to the ball, I think he's got an out. But that's the way it's going for Willie Peralta tonight.
Yeah, Jay and baseball got there at the same time, and not sure if Segura ever had it secured in the glove. Now, if he does, I'm not sure how he came out of the glove. He tried tagging him for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't think he had the foot on the bag. He was out right there, but once he hits the ground, tries to tag him, and that's where he loses the baseball.
Right.
Can't figure that one out.
Well, then it gets into a possession situation.
You got to control the baseball, as you hit the ground, and he did that, but lost it when he made the tag.
So the Brewers will not challenge. You saw Jerry Narron on the phone, and there's not enough there to try to overturn that one. So first and second, one away. Top of the order here is Matt Carpenter. Carpenter hit a long home run to center field in the third inning. Doubled in the first inning. After a hitless night last night, Carpenter's back to his hitting ways tonight. Tough to keep this guy down. Well, the third inning, Carpenter led off and wasted no time. This one goes halfway up the batter's eye in center field. All three home runs in this game have been long home runs.
And all over the head of Logan Schaefer.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. Carpenter in the right field. Santana will make the play. John Jay tags, goes to third base. Second out of the inning. That'll make it first and third.
Yeah, that one didn't have the sound. It either down on the end or on the handle. Not sure which one it was, but Carpenter gave it a pretty good swing, but didn't get it on the sweet spot.
Here is Stephen Piscotty. The September roster additions in the Cardinal game notes give you an idea of the kind of season that St. Louis has had. They are the first team to 90 wins, and it has been impressive when you consider all of the injuries that they've dealt with to key players. They lost Wainwright to an Achilles injury, and then losing Matt Adams, and then Matt Holliday. And so they've gone through the season with some role players, players that weren't expected to be everyday players or even players from the minor leagues, guys like Piscotty and Randall Grichuk. And they've performed well. They've gotten a lot of key contributions. And so now these players are starting to get healthy, and their September call-ups aren't minor league players. They're guys like Adams and Grichuk and Matt Holliday and John Jay. Those are their September additions.
Right.
Because the guys that they would normally call up in September were all in the big leagues already and performing in the big leagues. St. Louis has had a tough 10-day stretch. They dropped 4 games in the standings, so they were 6.5 games ahead of the Pirates just 11 days ago, and then 10 days later they were just 2.5 games up on the Pirates. It's their first real major slide of the year for a team that has just plowed through the rest of the league, and still the best record in baseball, and the first team to 90 W's.
And Mike Matheny knows nothing in his short time as a manager but postseason.
First year was 2012. He managed the in the first ever wild card game with the 2 wild card teams in the 1-game playoff. Matter of fact, he had Kyle Loesch on the mound as a starter that night in Atlanta. Fly ball to right. Santana will make the play, and that will retire the side, but the Redbirds are red hot, specifically Tommy Pham, who makes it 5-0.
To the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 4th inning, but their Double-A affiliate, the Biloxi Shuckers, have opened the Southern League Championship Series tonight against the Chattanooga Lookouts, and they are off to a good start. It is 3-1 for them. The Shuckers' starting rotation had gone 24 1/3 scoreless innings in the postseason. They did give up their first earned run to trail 1-0, but came back with a good 3rd inning. Yadiel Rivera hit a triple to tie the game, and then Orlando Arcia, of course, who else? A 2-run home run. They have a 3-1 lead there. You see the bottom of the 4th. That is Arcia's 3rd home run of the postseason.
Wow, this kid is something special, Rob. I mean, he's doing everything he can do at the minor league level, and we've talked to a lot of scouts who have the Brewers organization top to bottom. Every one of them saying that Arcia, in their mind, is a can't miss. Talking about his tools, his poise. He's playing like a big leaguer. There's not much more he's going to do in the minor leagues.
Yeah, young. Probably going to be in AAA next year, and see him in spring training. If not before, we'll see. You know, the Brewers say that pretty good chance you might see a couple of guys from Double-A come up for the remainder of the season. They haven't said who it's going to be.
Haven't really heard buzz like this on a shortstop in this organization since Alcides Escobar. That's the last time. And remember, the Brewers traded J.J. Hardy to make room for Escobar.
Right.
But the Brewers will have a new baseball operations department in some capacity. Their search for a general manager is ongoing. So the philosophies could change. You never know. I know Counsell raves about Arcia, and he's seen a lot of him before Counsell took over as the manager. He spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, and he knows Arcia about as well as anybody in the organization that's not with him every day. And he is a big fan of what he is and what he could be, and Counsell's not a guy that throws out the superlatives easily.
No,
either.
he doesn't either. Yep, you very rarely hear that. And, you know, those same scouts will tell you that the Brewers have some pretty good pitching arms down in the Double-A right now, too.
Now, what a rotation with Jorge Lopez. And there's a ground ball. Is going to sneak through. So Davis goes the other way. Bit of a shift on for the Cardinals.
Hit it like he threw it. He's trying to put the bat on the baseball with 2 strikes. A 2-2 pitch. Looked like something that was sinking away from Davis. Just stuck the bat out there and out of the reach of Piscotty.
Good piece of hitting. Remember, he lined out, hit a shot right at the left fielder, Pham. So Davis having another good night at the plate. He's on for Domingo Santana. Santana is the first of the 4 Astros prospects to make it to Milwaukee that came over in that trade for Gomez and Mike Fiers. Another one of those guys, the top prospect in that group, is Maverick Phillips, and he just homered to update Sophia's update. It's now 4-1 Biloxi. That's fair. What a play. Long throw and safe, and the ball gets away. And over to third goes Davis. Santana will reach on an infield hit.
Well, he needed that, didn't he? That'll be a hit in the air, and air on Carpenter. It would have been a great play, but Santana just runs too quickly. He's too fast. Right over the bag. Good play by Carpenter to get there. Just not able to get much on the throw. Ed Cedar doing a nice job getting out of the way. Can't interfere with a fielder. And Eddie, quick as a cat, getting out of the way.
He's got the nails on tonight. Got the new spikes.
Yeah.
He's not wearing the old coaching shoes anymore.
Yeah, 14th error committed by Carpenter over third base.
Eddie had a slip and a fall on the last homestand and immediately went to the shoe rack for some baseball spikes.
Did that on purpose, I think, just to stay out of the way of Herrera.
Yeah.
And that's quick thinking.
Herrera pulls one foul. 5-0 Cardinals. The Brewers have it set up with 2 on, first and third with nobody out. They have to take advantage of this scoring opportunity. Elion with a double his last time up. Had the first Brewer hit. Crew now with 4 hits on the night.
Yeah, Herrera drove one into right center. Starting to come up with some pretty good at-bats as a right-handed hitter. Much better from the left side and able to double off the wall out there in right center. That would look good right now.
Garcia's got him down. A ball and 2 strikes. 2-2 now. Elion starting the year with the Brewers. He was taken off the roster in June when the Brewers acquired Hernan Perez. Went to the minor leagues, had a lot of success, got put back on the roster, and here he is playing just about every day. And this evaluation part of the season for Milwaukee, he's hoping to be a part of the mix in 2016. First and third, nobody out. Full count. And Herrera muscles one right center field. That's going to fall. A base hit. Coming in is Davis. And the Brewers finally score. They scratch one on Garcia. That'll be an RBI for Herrera. And it's 5-1. First and second, still nobody out.
They tried to come in on Herrera that time. Check it out. In on him. He does the job, but puts it out in the short right field. Not exactly the way to hit the first one, the double off the wall out in right center, but able to find the hole out there. Drops it in between 3 guys for the Brewers' first run.
Herrera's having a good night. 2 for 2. Now a run batted in. And here is Martin Maldonado. High drive, right center field. That is way back. And goodbye. A 3-run home run. Martin Maldonado.
Boys aren't laying down tonight. Down 5-0. Now they're within 1 run. Maldonado drives that one out of here to the opposite field. First pitch, fastball. See you later. Jaime Garcia has only given up 4 home runs before tonight, so he keeps the ball in the ballpark, but not that time. Boom. Home run number 4 for Maldonado. And a Powerball home run count.
Boy, that's got to feel good for him. Backup catcher Lucroy's out with a concussion, getting some playing time and making it count. Right back in at the Brew Crew. A 3-run shot makes it 5-4 St. Louis. Still nobody out.
They have 4 consecutive hits.
Here's Logan Schaefer now. Boy, instant life in that Brewers dugout, huh?
No kidding. And it all started with Chris Davis. That great approach, just punching one into right field.
Luis Sardinas is on deck. So Willie Peralta's night is over. 4 innings for Peralta. That's a ground ball. That is foul. Close call over there at first base. That's Marty Foster down there.
And not reviewable, but bounced in fair territory, but apparently didn't go over the bag. There's your bounce. Does it go over the bag? Pretty close.
And tough to tell from that angle. Foster's right on it. Got the best angle. Schaefer in an 0-2 count. 4 runs are in with nobody out in the inning. 4 consecutive hits. 3 singles and a homer. Martin Maldonado. 4th homer, now 17 runs batted in for Maldonado.
The king of the extra innings, Maldonado.
It's usually when he hits his home runs, right?
Last 2 starts for Martin, extra innings.
10 innings last night. That's nothing for him. He caught a 17-inning game and hit a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
On Memorial Day. There's a shot right at second. Heck of a play by Wong. What a backhanded pickup. Takes a hit away from Schaefer. First out of the inning. That one was stung as well.
Yeah, good play by Wong, who's had his problems defensively this year. And between Carpenter and Wong, they have kicked the ball around a little bit. Wong with 16 miscues and making that one look easy on the backhand.
Carpenter almost made a highlight reel play on Santana, but it was an infield hit. He committed an error on that throw.
30 errors between those 2 guys.
Go figure.
Yeah. Usually Cardinals is pretty solid defensively, not this year.
Carpenter's playing third base because of the emergence of Wong. They were able to move him over there a couple of years ago, and he was a second baseman. Prefers third, played a little first. Sardinas, slow roller, and Peralta with a quick release for the out at first base. Sardinas retired. And 2 gone in the inning. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WishDataStrongFan, and you could be like Scott. I think he's the one in the middle. Scott sending us a picture from Miller Park doing a little tailgating. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Good job, Scott. Two outs. Gene Segura back at the top of the Brewers order. 7th batter of the inning. Segura is 0 for 2 tonight. Was a strikeout victim his last time up. Out to short, Peralta. And that will retire the side. But the Brewers come back in a big way. A 4-spot. Martin Maldonado, his first home run in 3.5 months. Gets the Brewers within a run as we head to the 5th. Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, the Brewers have fought their way back. It was 5-0 going into the bottom of the 4th inning. Martin Maldonado with a 3-run homer after an RBI single by Herrera. And it's 5-4 now. Peralta's out, was pinch hit for last inning. And Tyler Cravey will take over. Spent some time on the disabled list with an elbow injury. You might remember his first big league start came in St. Louis, and he had a jaw-dropping performance in that game. Nobody expected. He went 7 innings and only 1 run. And he'll get his chance again against St. Louis.
Unfortunately, Brewers got beat 1-0 in that game. Last pitch for Cravey on Friday at Pittsburgh. A scoreless inning, gave up a couple of hits, but struck out 3 batters. Actually came in with a couple of men on and was able to just limit the damage to 1 run.
Jason Hayward starts it for St. Louis. 0 for 2 tonight. Couple of ground outs. His last at bat turned into a 4-6-3 double play. Tough night for Willie Peralta tonight. Goes just 4 innings, gives up 5 earned runs tonight.
And his problems against the Cardinals continue.
Two 2-0 on Hayward. This is low and away. 3 balls and no strikes. Hayward hit a decisive home run yesterday. Snapped a 1-1 tie, 2-run homer in the 10th. Hit that one on a shot in and out of the glove of Rogers. And Hayward is aboard.
It might have gone right through the glove that time. That ball was smoked. Boy, last 2 times up, Hayward's hit it right on the button. And last time right to Herrera. This one right through Jason Rogers. Got to be a base hit, doesn't it? Is it an error?
Going to score it as an E3. I'm sure Rogers would tell you he should have made that play.
Yeah. That ball was smoked, though.
It was. Peralta right off the end of the bat, sinking fast, and Santana's got it. A sliding catch. What a play. Took up a huge divot out there.
Well, he makes up a lot of ground, doesn't he? Those long strides. He doesn't even look like he's running very hard, but he's making up some distance. Well, look at the way he plays deep, but you can do that when you can come in that quickly. Haywood able to get back to first base.
Replace your divots, Rock.
Ouch.
Wow. Digging into the turf.
Been a while since I've had a divot.
Oh, you're hitting them so clean now, huh?
No, not hitting them at all.
Haven't played?
It's been a great summer, too.
Haven't lost a ball this year.
Been nice and relaxed.
Golf's not for everyone, Rock.
It's not. You're right. I'm convinced. Finally. For the first time since I've known you, I agree with you.
Runner at first for Molina. One man out and slaps one foul. Yadier Molina. Hard to figure what he's going to be like the rest of the season into the postseason. He's having a down year, but set a very high bar for himself offensively. And you're right, Brock. That is just a touch slow, and he's trying to crank it up early. I don't remember seeing Molina swing and miss this much ever.
And swinging out of the strike zone as well. A lot of games behind home plate for Yadier Molina. He's not that old, but he's got a lot of games under his belt.
And down he goes. So Cravey challenges him with a fastball, and Molina strikes out. Second out of the inning.
You can understand with Willie at 95-96, but Cravey 93 miles an hour. Hey, this Friday's another student night at Miller Park. The Brewers host the Reds, and all high school and college students can purchase $10 Terrace Reserve, their $15 Lowe's bleacher tickets, plus enjoy a special $3 pregame menu. For tickets, go to brewers.com/students.
Two gone. Runner at first. Here is Colton Wong, and he takes a ball low. Wong has been on twice. Wong and Pham responsible for 4 runs tonight. Pham's driven them all in, but Wong has gotten on base ahead of him in both of his at-bats, a walk and a single. And Pham with the 2 home runs. Matter of fact, the last 3 hitters, the position players, 6, 7, 8 in the batting order, on base all but 1 time tonight. 4 for 5 with a walk from those 3, Wong, Pham, and John Jay. Cravey out of the bullpen in relief of Peralta. Trying to shut down the Cardinals this inning after the Brewers just scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, you got to keep them off the board here. Keep that momentum in the dugout. Shut them down, get a couple of runs, and put the pressure on them.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Wong. And a foul tip in and out of the glove of Maldonado. At bat continues. Wong's not a big guy, but he packs a punch. He's got 11 home runs this season. 56 runs batted in for him. Typically hitting in the bottom of the order. He just missed 4 games last week. Had a calf injury, left calf strain.
And back, but really not 100%. He hasn't really tried to run in this series. Normally when he gets on first base and there's nobody in front of him, he's going to take off. Hasn't done that.
One, 2 again. And Wong, a chopper. Cravey's got to get there. He does, and he'll run Wong down to end the inning. So good job, Tyler Cravey. Works around a leadoff error. Puts up a 0 in the 5th. Brewers down a run.
Baseball proudly celebrates the life and legacy of Roberto Clemente. Roberto Clemente Day recognizes one player from each club who best represents the game of baseball through positive contributions on and off the field. Today, the Brewers nominated Jonathan Lucroy. Fan voting in a special selection committee will determine the national winner announced at the World Series. You can vote for Lucroy at ChevyBaseball.com. You see there, Jonathan Lucroy accepting his nomination, said it's a huge honor to be nominated, and always so involved in the community, says he really takes a lot of pride in that, along with his teammates giving back to the community. So congratulations to Lucroy, a very deserving nominee.
Well done, Sophia, and specifically in the area of military charities for Jonathan Lucroy. Saw representatives of Honor Flight here tonight. Hernan Perez leads off, and a ground ball to start the inning. So we'll see how Jaime Garcia bounces back after surrendering 4 runs in the 4th inning. We've got a crowded bullpen down there. Most teams do this time of the year.
Yeah, got to take a number to get loose over there. Not a lot of room.
See Jonathan Broxton.
Yeah. He takes up the room of 3 guys.
Right.
Cardinals have 12 pitchers down in their bullpen. 12.
Matheny can go match up the rest of the way. He didn't do that last night. It was interesting. Matheny does make a lot of pitching changes. He likes the matchups. Very similar to the manager who preceded Matheny, Tony La Russa. And he's got an army out there to work with. 0-2 pitch, and Rogers taps it foul.
Well, Matheny was saying his comments after the game yesterday, saying that Carlos Martinez, that's the best he's ever seen him throw. Didn't want to take him out. Let him go 8 innings, 1 run. It was a tie game, and he left Segrist in there for a number of right-handed batters.
Right back to the mound. Garcia will make the play. There is out number 2.
It's a better game when you let your pitchers stay out there, isn't it? Don't you think?
And we were having this discussion earlier with a few folks, but it's a gamble. There's high risk, high reward. You leave a pitcher out there too long, especially in a matchup scenario, and you could get bitten, and that means you're going to have to talk about it in the post game and subject yourself to scrutiny. However, on the flip side, how good is Carlos Martinez feeling today?
Right, no doubt.
Because he's not, and you put it in context, he had 8 starts. His last 8 starts prior to last night, only one of them he pitched more than 5 innings. They might have gotten him back with that effort last night. As Davis grounds out, and a bounce back inning for Garcia. Still 5-4 St. Louis. Tommy Pham, 2 homers tonight. His first, a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning. Matt Carpenter homered in the third. Long fly ball center field, hit the batter's eye, and then it was Pham again. He got a slider and launched one out of here. 2 homers, 4 runs batted in, but the Brewers down 5-1 at the time. Get a 3-run shot from Martin Maldonado. His first home run since May 31st when he had that walk-off in the 17th inning. So that's where we're at right now. 5-4 St. Louis. Pham with his 2 home runs will lead off here in the 6th. So the first one left the bat at 103.6 miles per hour. Second one was a slider that he was a little bit out in front of, and he still hit it out with
out in front
an exit velocity of 99 miles an hour.
He hit that one like a rocket.
He is having a very good week, Tommy Pham, and he's not even playing all that much. Now he hit what proved to be a game-winning home run Sunday against Cincinnati, and he's hit 2 2-run home runs tonight.
I thought you meant he's having a good week today.
He is having a good week today, right?
Yeah, right.
2 homers. Well, you hit 5 home runs a month, you'll hit 30 for a season. That gives you an idea. Chris Davis hit 10 home runs in the month of August.
And if you hit 2 a day, how many would that be?
Well, 2 a day is going to be some kind of record.
On a pace 2.
2-2. Kraby deals it, and Pham shoots one down the right field line. That's going to get into the corner. And he's got a chance at a triple. Pham flying around the bases is into third base. Boy, is he ever racking up the total bases tonight. Man, what a night for him. That's his 3rd triple already.
Put a good swing on his baseball. And not a bad pitch by Tyler Kraby. He might have had a little bit too much of the plate, but a slice. Touch it inside that right field line. He could see his speed. He knew he was going to be in for a triple at least. Any problems out there, and I think they might have been tempted, but you never want to make the first out at home plate. Got power and he can run.
I'm telling you what, 4 homers and now 3 triples this season. Got 11 total bases tonight. And the Cardinals put a runner at third with nobody out for John Jay.
Well, you handle Hayward, Peralta, Molina, and look who's doing all the damage, right? Man, never know where it's going to come from with this team.
That's been their story all season long. So their general manager deserves a lot of credit as well, John Mozeliak. He's not only built a big league roster, but he's built a minor league support system that has allowed Mike Matheny and company to keep it rolling no matter who they plug in. Helps to have the 8th and the 9th inning secured, and they certainly do that with Segrist and Rosenthal closing. Rosenthal second in the leading saves.
Very good starting rotation. It's all about pitching. Lead all the baseball in earned run average. And just score enough, right?
When you have a pitching staff that'll keep you in a game like the Cardinals staff does, there's not that urgency from the offense. You know, they feel like as long as the game's close, they have that comeback ability. I'll be very curious to see what they do with Adam Wainwright. Highly unlikely he'd be able to come back as a starting pitcher. He's just not going to have enough build-up. But I tell you, if he's available to pitch and you could use him out of the bullpen, he's had a terrific run as a reliever already for the Cardinals in the World Series. That would be a shot in the arm, not to mention what he'd give him on the mound.
Well, you know he wants to get back out there. Question is it worth the risk?
And his is a leg injury. It's an Achilles injury, actually. So the arm's healthy, arm strong.
Did it here in Milwaukee. Swinging the bat, running to first.
Foul ball by Jay. Wainwright made a name for himself as a reliever. 2006 playoff run for the Cardinals that ended in a World Series title over the Tigers. Wainwright pitched in 9 games that year in the postseason out of the bullpen. He did not allow a run and had 4 saves in that postseason. That was just his first season in the big leagues. He had made it the year before, just briefly. Cardinals made him a starter the next year, starting in 07. And he's been a 3-time All-Star since then.
Yeah, one of the most consistent starters in the National League and has never won a Cy Young. Always a runner-up.
Yeah, he got stuck in the Roy Halladay and Chris Carpenter. You know, you probably felt they were splitting votes. Finished actually second in the Cy Young twice and third twice. There's a call, strike 3. Cravey needed that. Punched him out with a runner at third base. And now the pitcher coming up.
Yep, caught him on the inside corner. Good pitch. There it is. Catching more than home plate than John Jay thought.
John Jay stands right on top of the plate. That one had that comeback sink into the strike zone.
A lot of meetings going on right now. You got Garcia, the third base coach. You got the Brewers talking about a potential squeeze.
And Matheny's going to let Garcia hit here in a 5-4 Cardinal lead, 6th inning. Garcia will bat. Infield in for the Brewers. Garcia takes a ball. Garcia has just 3 hits all season. 37 plate appearances this year for Garcia. One ball, one strike. And a wave and a miss. Garcia anxious to swing, trying to put the ball in play. Cravey got him to chase.
Jose Oquendo now telling him just hit the ball up the middle, get a base hit.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. Easy
Jaime,
as that.
It's just like telling him, Jaime, just throw strikes.
Right up the middle.
1-2 the count. And Cravey goes back to the fastball. Garcia was late. Boy, how many times have I heard that? BA, just get a hit once.
Take him up the middle. Don't try and pull it.
I hardly recognized Jose Oquendo, by the way.
I was going to say,
dropped
that's why,
a lot of weight.
That's why I said, I mean, the third base coach, I know it's Jose Oquendo over there. He's had to have lost 50, 60 pounds.
Easy.
I mean, at minimum.
Well, that jersey was full, and now there's a lot of room in there. Been on the Molina plan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's the ground ball, infield in. Herrera coming home to catch the tag and out. Bang, bang play at the plate. Good throw by Herrera. Allowed Maldonado to get the tag on quickly.
Yeah, you got to concentrate if you're the catcher there. You can't stand in front of home plate unless you have the baseball. Something that catchers really never had to think about before. And he doesn't. He makes the tag and an easy out at home plate. Good play by Herrera. Good throw. Maldonado not blocking off home plate. Well done.
I saw Cravey hit the deck too. On his belly. That's a good hook up there between Herrera and Maldonado. Top of the order now. Matt Carpenter got a runner at first. 2 outs. Carpenter 2 out of 3 tonight with a double and a homer.
Catchers have to relearn how you make plays at home plate. I mean, you're taught one way your entire life. Block off home plate, keep that foot down the line. You can't do it anymore. And I think for the most part, catchers have done a nice job with the adjustment. You don't see that called very often. Guys aren't caught doing that. What you do see, though, is you see a lot of catchers dropping balls coming in, particularly from the outfield, because all of a sudden now they have to be in front of home plate and make a swipe tag, and they're missing balls and dropping them.
Make a swipe tag with a glove that's not really meant for that.
It's a 2-hand glove, right, on tags? That's the way it's always been.
It's a part of the game that catchers are having to relearn. Completely relearn. Change habits.
It was okay one year, and next year can't do it. Tough adjustment.
It has cut down on a lot of injuries. There's no question about that. Mike Matheny was talking about some of his worst collisions. Had a significant role in his multiple concussions. Not the foul balls so much, but the collisions at the plate. 3 balls and a strike to Carpenter. Matheny's Cardinals had a 5-0 lead tonight going into the 4th inning. The Brewers got 4 in the 4th. 3-run homer from Maldonado. Cravey trying to get the Brewers back to the dugout down a run. Swinging a foul. Game break. Checking on the action in Pittsburgh. And a play at the plate, and the call was out. Florimon gunned down at the plate. That was the potential tying run. And
went to review.
Montero blocking the plate, and they kept the out call in place.
Without knowing what the decision was, I think the throw might have taken him in that direction. That might have been what the situation was. So if the throw takes you and makes you end up blocking home plate before you have the baseball, it's okay.
Boy, a head first slide at home plate. That's never a good idea.
Yeah. So
that's still 2-1, 8th inning. Cubs have the lead as Carpenter draws the walk. First and second. 2 away in the inning, and here comes Piscotty, and here comes Rick Kranitz, the Brewer pitching coach.
I don't think there's anything wrong with blocking home plate. That's just my opinion. Catchers aren't forced to do it. They do it if they want, at their own risk. If you're going to block home plate, you better know how to do it, number one. But that's the way the rules are, so you have to make the adjustment. I think that Cub decision, the decision that Cub game was clear that I guess the throw carried Montero into the runner. That's why he wasn't called out, because he was clearly in front of home plate before he had the ball.
take another look. This is the replay from Pittsburgh, and
that's he is definitely in front of home plate before he has the baseball.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can think of is that's what the umpires in New York decided, that the throw took him over there.
Fly ball into center, playable for Schaefer. And after the mound visit, Cravey gets his man. It ends the inning, and the Cardinals fail to score. They leave a pair.
Five to nothing with a 4 spot in the fourth. And tonight's time of the game winner, Rockies Pub in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. As they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May 2016 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Speaking of Chippewa Falls, you know who's there? The Leinenkugel's Brewery.
How's that? Yeah,
they got a new deal out. You get
buddies.
these, the Leinenkugel's Honey Weiss. It's a 15-pack. You see the shape of it?
I do see the shape of it.
See the shape right here? I forgot what camera we were on.
That would be a triangle.
You know what that is? Now, it's a 15-pack. Now, when you're done with it, it becomes one of your famous
just like that.
Hat. There you go.
Yeah, it's like a cheese wedge.
You get it? I mean, that's a good deal. But you have to drink the beer first, which is not necessarily a negative.
Probably not a problem.
Because once you drink the beer, you're willing to wear the hat.
Well, that's a great endorsement by you, Rock.
I like it. And if anybody out there just wants to wear the hat, doesn't want to drink the beer, just bring it to me.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm guessing the hat is going to need, at least for you anyway, is going to need a little bit of extra attention.
Yeah, I got to cut out a little bit bigger hole.
I was wondering where these came from.
Yeah, but it fits you, doesn't it?
Perfectly.
Nice job.
Domingo Santana leading off here in the 6th inning. Had an infield hit in the 4th. Brewers are down a run, bottom of the 6th, and Santana takes a ball. Jaime Garcia coming off a 3-up, 3-down inning with 3 ground ball outs. We'll have another update for you from Pittsburgh. That game's getting good right now. The Pirates have the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th inning against Arrieta. It's 2-1 Cubs as Santana strikes out. And the first out of the 6th inning. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Pirates actually just tied it at 2. And the Rangers and the Astros, it's a laugher down in Arlington. 12-1 the score. Texas has the lead over Houston. They're going to add to their lead in the American League West, a game and a half. At the plate, presented by Wendy's, Elian Herrera. 2 hits. He drove in the first Brewers run. Started a 4-run 4th inning. Other division races that are in question. The American League East. Blue Jays are up 3 games in that division. Three games up on the New York Yankees. Yankees have a 3-1 lead in the 9th inning over the Rays, and the Blue Jays are up 9-1 on Atlanta. Minnesota's in the wild card picture in the American League. They trail the Tigers tonight 2-1 in the 5th. Paul Molitor, first-year manager. Brewer great.
It's hard to decide who the most surprising team in the American League is. It's got to be between the Twins and the Astros this year. Neither team was expected to do a whole lot.
I'd even put the Rangers in that category as well. Not sure they were expecting this kind of run. They were debating at the trade deadline what to do. Were they going to trade their major league players and restock their minor league system, or go the other way? They were right on the fence, and they decided to make a run. They made a trade to acquire Cole Hamels, and they put themselves right back in the picture. They're in first place.
Mets your surprise team in the National League?
Yes, definitely. There's another little flare. This time Piscotty in foul territory will make the catch. 2 outs. So Maldonado will bat now with nobody on. He stepped up to the plate in the 4th inning with 2 men on base. Our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. No doubter. First homer since his 17th inning walk-off on May 31st. Maldonado with home run number 4 and a 3-run shot to bring the Brewers within a run. And that's where we still sit. 5-4 Cardinals.
Impressive performance for the Crew tonight with a lot of their starters out of the lineup. 3 big boppers out. Lucroy, Braun, Lind, all sitting this one out. They're hanging right in there.
Braun is out with tightness in his back, and talked about a little bit of concern, a little more concern than just regular end of season tightness. So not sure exactly what's going on with his back. The Brewers have a great medical team, and Braun said he was going to try to give it a go tomorrow, but we'll see. Count is 2-1 on Maldonado. And he rolls over one. In the hole, Peralta. Long throw, short hop, and Maldonado is safe. Piscotty couldn't pick it. Well, no real urgency on the part of Johnny Peralta.
He just doesn't have much of an arm. He's got to get rid of it quickly. He really doesn't have the arm strength at this point. See how quickly he gets rid of it. He doesn't really crow hop. He doesn't get his feet underneath of him. Good throw, and Maldonado's going to be out. So I would imagine that's got to be an error. But we'll see.
Maldonado reaches with 2 away, gives Logan Schaefer an at-bat. Tying run at first base, bottom of the 6th inning. Schaefer on the ground, right to Wong. And that will retire the side. So we are with 6 in the books. Garcia and the Cardinals still lead at 5-4.
Check in again with the Biloxi Sugars. Game 1 of the Southern League Championship Series against Chattanooga. The last time we updated you, it was a 4-1 lead thanks to home runs from Orlando Arcia and Brandon Phillips. They have now it opened up a 7-1 lead thanks to another Arcia RBI. That's 9 RBIs for him in the last 4 games. And Yadiel Rivera had a triple and followed it up with an RBI double. So again, that is now 7-1 for the Shuckers, top of the 7th.
Boy, that team is rolling along. And they are, if they win tonight, they're 2 wins away from a Southern League title. The Biloxi Shuckers. New pitcher in the game for Milwaukee, left-hander Cesar Jimenez, the 3rd pitcher.
Jimenez has been having some control problems as of late. Boy, his first few appearances with the Brewers have been stellar, but lately the walks are starting to catch up to him. Got 7 walks, 12 strikeouts in 13 2/3 innings. A lot of those walks have come as of late. Walked 3 batters his last time out. That was Saturday against the Pirates.
Jason Hayward will lead off. Hayward, Peralta, Molina, first 3 up. Cardinals lead 5-4.
Nice job by Cravey, huh?
Cravey was able to hold the Cardinals scoreless across the 5th and the 6th innings after the Brewers scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Settled the game back down. Willie Peralta started, struggled tonight, giving up 5 earnings in 4 innings. And Jimenez will try to do the same. Sophia mentioned Brett Phillips, who was the Astros Organizational Player of the Year last year. He was the significant piece in that trade. And probably the reason why Fires was included in the Gomez trade to Houston, to get Brett Phillips, who's a center fielder. One of the top prospects in all of baseball. There's a swing and a miss. 2-2. But I like his nickname, and he said you could call him either name. He introduces himself as Brett, but a lot of people, most people, call him Maverick, and that's his real name. That's like his real middle name.
Middle name, okay.
Maverick.
That was a nickname. What are you going to use?
I'm all Maverick.
You're all Maverick.
I'm all about style points.
Probably see him in spring training, maybe sooner. Who knows?
You know, and then if we get real friendly with him, we'll just call him Mav. Like, hey Mav, how you doing? How's it going, Mav? It's better than Brett. Because then if you call him Brett, you got to shorten it to Beat.
I'm going to go with Brett.
You are more official, Bill.
I think it's only his friends that call him Maverick.
Well, like I said, you might not be that kind of person to him. There's a swing and a miss. Hayward strikes out. Jimenez picks up his first K.
Yep, high fastball. Well, Jimenez fell behind 2-1 and was able to get the fastball by Hayward that time. You can see his reaction, say that was up. I swung at it.
Johnny Peralta now with 1 away. I learned a lot about Maverick Phillips and the rest of the Biloxi Shuckers on a spectacular edition of the Jeff Levering podcast, Brewers on Tap.
Best in the business,
there's a new one out today.
Is there? You want it again?
No. I had my chance. I had to wait all the way until September to get a spot on the podcast roster.
He had to work out the bugs before he got the big shot on.
I don't think so. I think he was running out of options, is what I was thinking. Every Wednesday, or every Tuesday actually, comes out. This is Wednesday, isn't it? So it's still fresh. He's got an interview with Assistant General Manager Gord Ash. John Shelby. That's all he does. He sits up there and he eats all night long. Jeff Levering.
Working on the podcast.
He's got that Twitter deck up. He's got a lot going on up there. Jeff Levering. He's interviewing Nevin Ashley on this week's edition. It's a good one. Ashley's been quite the star for the Brewers after his long trek to the big leagues. You appreciate that.
Good story.
10 years in the minor leagues. He got an RBI in his first, a double, had a base hit in his very first major league at bat. There's a swing and a miss, and Jimenez with that changeup gets another one. Back-to-back Ks. Carsoup.com trivia. So it's Robin Yount's 60th birthday today. Asking you if he was the youngest Brewer to make his debut. What do you think? Yes, he was. 18 years of age in the big leagues. Went from high school to the major leagues. Quite a story. Robin Yount, 18 and 201 days. And then Ed Romero was 19 when he made his debut in 1977. Darrell Porter, Gary Sheffield. Remember, Sheffield debuted as a shortstop.
The kid. Didn't get to see him in fantasy camp this year. Part owner of the Lakeshore Chinooks.
That's right.
College team up in Concordia University. Nice ballpark up there.
Molina has struck out twice tonight. Jimenez a chance to strike out the side. And a foul ball. Molina has set a career high in strikeouts this season. Not a guy that strikes out very often throughout his career. The most he'd ever struck out was 55 times in a season. And that actually happened on 4 occasions. He has 57 strikeouts this season, with a few weeks left.
Which isn't many.
Puts the ball in play, swings early in the count.
Yeah.
He's not around for a lot of 2-strike pitches.
I wonder how much losing 20 pounds has cost him. It's a lot of weight. I would imagine it takes. I would imagine losing 20 pounds would be an adjustment for the body, right? I mean, it has to be.
It's not a subject you can speak from experience.
No.
Or? There's a swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. Cesar Jimenez comes on in the 7th, gets Hayward with a high fastball. Changeup to Peralta. And then he puts away Molina with the heater. 3 Ks in the 7th inning. Brewers still down a run. Brewers got all 4 of their runs in the bottom of the 4th. We're on our way to the bottom of the 7th now. John Lackey, Jimmy Nelson will match up tomorrow. It's the final game of the series with the Cardinals. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. 6:30 is airtime. And first pitch just after 7 o'clock. 2 big right-handers. Big old country boys going at it tomorrow. Mark Reynolds will come into play first. Matheny will tighten up his defense. That moves Piscotty out to left field. And Tommy Pham, who has 2 home runs and a triple, will move into center field, keeping that bat in the lineup. John Jay's out. Shane Peterson will pinch hit for Jimenez. An impressive showing tonight, striking out the middle of the St. Louis order. Hayward, Peralta, and Molina. Jaime Garcia working in his 7th inning.
Yeah, Craig Counsell forced to go to left-hander off the bench against Garcia. You got Nevin Ashley, and then you have Braun Lucroy. Probably neither one of those two available tonight.
Pirates and Cubs are going to extra innings tonight. Late rally for the Pirates. In the 10th inning, 2-2 ball game. That game has a lot of meaning to the Cardinals and their fans. St. Louis 3 games up on the Pirates. Cubs are 7 games back of St. Louis. Peterson gets sawed off. Slow roller. Wong will make the play. There's out number 1. Fox Sports Wisconsin is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Greater Milwaukee to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Sunday, November 15th. At Bayshore Town Center in Glendale. To register, go to foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab. 1 out. Here is Segura. Right center. That's going to get down all the way to the fence. And Segura on his way to second. It's a 1-out double and the tying run in scoring position.
Well, with all these right-handers coming up for the Brewers, you wonder how long Matheny's going to stick with Garcia. And here he comes as we speak. Well, a good approach by Gene Segura, taking that pitch into the gap on right center, driving the ball a little bit more with authority last couple of weeks. And there's your tying run at second base with 1 out.
And that's the end of the line for Jaime Garcia. Matheny will make the change. Brewers threaten in the 7th, down a run. Pitching change. Out double off the bat of Segura. Matheny's going to go to his Penn Rocket. Seth Maness on to work, appearance number 70 this season.
Yeah, one of his more consistent guys out of that bullpen. A very good
Bullpen it is for St. Louis. A 370 earned run average. Not a big strikeout guy. Gets a lot of ground balls. He's given up 5 home runs. He last pitched on the 12th at Seth Maness against Cincinnati and tossed up a scoreless inning. That included a couple of strikeouts.
Scooter Gennett will bat. Pinch hitting for Hernan Perez. And a chance to drive in a run to tie up this game. And a shot back up the middle. Backhanded Wong. Jump throw. And he's got him. Man, oh man, what a play. Colton Wong.
Well, good athleticism for Wong. Not only getting there, but able to control his body well enough to get a good throw over to first base. Shaded up the middle a little bit. Got a good jump. Made that one look easy. That was anything but easy, but he looked smooth and made it look easy. Got the out by plenty. Not even close at first base.
Very strong throwing arm from the second baseman. Wong not only takes a hit away from Gennett, saves a run. Brewers down a run, 2 outs now. Segura did advance to third. Jason Rogers looking for that 2-out hit. Seth Maness in relief of Jaime Garcia. Rogers on the ground, right to Peralta. And that will retire the side. A spectacular play by Colton Wong. Saves a run, keeps the Cardinals in the lead. In game 2 of this 3-game series. Scooter Gennett will remain in the game. He'll play second base. Got robbed of a hit by Wong. That slides Herrera over to third. And the Brewers have made a change on the mound as well. Kyle Loesch on the pitch. Pitching out of the bullpen these days for the Brewers. Former Cardinal starter.
He's been throwing the baseball pretty well. Last pitched on Saturday against the Pirates. That was in Pittsburgh. 2 1/3 scoreless. He stranded an inherited runner in the 4th inning. Last 10 appearances have all come out of the bullpen and has done a pretty good job. Unscored upon in his last 4.
Colton Wong will lead off. Well, without his glove, the Brewers certainly would have tied it. Not many second basemen that make that play. Not many second basemen with the throwing arm of Colton Wong and the quickness.
A lot of guys get there, but might not be able to have much on the throw.
In the air to right. Sounded like it was off the end of the bat, and Santana's there for the out. Loesch has done a good job out of the bullpen. He's actually recorded 2 saves this year. One of them was a 3-inning save against the Washington Nationals.
The change up to get Wong. Yeah, he's been throwing the ball well out of the bullpen. He really has. Who would have thought Kyle Loesch with 2 saves this year, right?
Had a save in extra innings against the Pirates. That was last Thursday. Tommy Pham has 3 hits. The triple, which was his 3rd hit, higher exit velocity than his home run. But they've all been struck well. You start pushing into the mid-90s with an exit velocity, that means you're barreling up.
Yeah, you're hitting on a sweet spot. You don't get exit velocities near 100 on the handle. 11 total bases tonight.
The season high for total bases this year is 15. Yoenis Cespedes had 15 total bases in a game against the Rockies in Colorado. Ryan Braun had a 15 total bases game one year in San Diego. 3 homers and a triple.
Yeah.
High fly ball, left center field. Schaefer at the wall, and he's got it. My goodness. Tommy Pham almost hit his 3rd home run of the night. Instead, it's a long, loud out, and the 2nd out of the inning for Loesch.
Deepest part of the ballpark here at Miller Park. Sounded good. Schaefer able to grab it right in front of the fence.
The 2nd out. First time Pham has been retired. Here's Mark Reynolds. Good slider. In there for a strike. Beg your pardon. Called a ball. I had it as a strike, Rock. They didn't ask me.
Sounded like somebody said strike.
I thought he raised the thumb on that. Maybe not.
Must have been somebody in the seats. Everything out of the zone. It's 3-0.
Maybe home plate umpire Mike McClinsky was just fist pumping. Now that's a strike. And that's ball 4. So Reynolds draws the walk. And that's going to give Matt Adams an at bat. Matheny's going to go to his slugger coming off the bench. Brewers trail at 5-4. Loesch trying to get the Brewers to the dugout in the 8th. Only down a run. Matt Adams just coming back from a major quad injury that required surgery. Maldonado on his way out.
Yeah, Cal trying to be real fine on those edges. Knows he doesn't have the stuff to get by with too much of the wide of the plate. Difficult time throwing the changeup over, so Maldonado wants to go out and calm him down a little bit. Big power, Matt Adams.
They call him Big City. Adams playing in his 5th game since returning from the disabled list. Been out since May 26th. Most thought he would not make it back this season. Healed well.
And good numbers against Loesch.
Made his first start since coming back last night. Wave and a miss. A changeup from Loesch. A ball and 2 strikes. Since coming back, Adams is 2 for 5. Does have a home run. He homered against the Reds on Sunday. Two and two. Loesch, a long pause, and now he'll step off and start over. Brewers stranded a runner in scoring position last inning. Got a runner at second with 1 out. And the 2-2 is fouled away. Adams had 4 homers before the injury. He was a slumping hitter before he got hurt. He's hit 5 homers this season. And a shot right to Loesch. Always in a position to field, and he makes a play to win the inning. Another 0 out of the Brewers bullpen. Brewers are coming up down a run.
Got the Cardinals leading the Brewers by a run going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Davey and I getting set for Brewers Live postgame coming up right after the ball game. Another tight ball game here. Obviously, yesterday the Cardinals pulled it out in 10. See if the Brewers can get things going right now.
Well, that's right. Hopefully they can. You know, they got Crush Davis leading us off, so hopefully he can start it and get it going. Hey, it's been a well-played game. The Brewers have made a great comeback so far.
Yeah, a lot of big bats out of the starting lineup tonight for Milwaukee, so we'll see what Davis and the Brewer crew can do. We'll hear from Craig Counsell and everyone else coming up on Brewers Live postgame, Brian.
All right, Craig and Davey, thank you. And you see big Jonathan Broxton as a Brewer, an ERA approaching 6. As a Cardinal, been a much different story. Although Chris Davis has a home run against Broxton recently, back in early August 9th. Powerball home run leaderboard. Davis is there, 21. He's right behind Braun, just 4 back of him. Despite 160 plus fewer at bats than Ryan Braun.
Yeah, Broxton with a good velocity at 95 on the inside corner on Davis right there. Broxton last appeared on the 13th at Cincinnati. Tossed a scoreless inning. Did give up a base hit.
Davis has been on a home run binge lately. That's not going anywhere. Right back to the mound. Broxton will run it over to first, and that is the first out.
Yeah, the wild card for Broxton with the Brewers was that slider. He threw a good one right there to Davis. Throws it for strikes, and he gets it down in the count or down in the zone. He's going to have a good outing. There were times when he would throw it, other times he would not. It's kind of a mystery.
Here's Santana. And a strike. Quickly 0-2. When you're in a slump like Santana, a lot of swings and misses, feels like you are in a perpetual 0-2 count.
Yeah.
You walk up to the plate 0-2.
A lot of it's self-inflicted because you're so anxious to, get a hit. You're swinging early in the count, and you're swinging the pitches out of the strike zone.
3 Ks last night. He's punched out twice tonight, but he does have an infield hit tonight. And might have been a double if not for a great backhand stop by Carpenter. Carpenter made a jump throw and actually threw it away. But that was scored as an infield hit, rightly so. Santana with big power, especially to the opposite field. The Brewers are down a run, 8th inning. And Broxton working him inside. He misses. Two and two on Santana. Back in there. 97 with the fastball. 3-2 the count.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Molina made it sound good. 97 inside corner.
Down he goes. Santana knew it. Another strikeout for Domingo. Well, he's in a tough spot right now. Last 2 nights. Second out of the inning for Broxton. Here comes Elian Herrera. Herrera's had a good night at the plate. Marshfield Clinic's shining moment. He ripped a double into right center. That was his first at bat in the 2nd inning, and this one plated a run. Didn't look like much off the bat, but muscled it into right center field. And that snapped the shutout, and then the Brewers would get the 3-run homer from Maldonado, the very next hitter. Elian started the game at second base, now at third.
Hitting in his more comfortable left-hand batter's box right now.
Into center field, hit sharply, and Pham runs it down. Tommy Pham takes extra bases away from Herrera. This is the night of the Pham. Game 2 of this 3-game series at Miller Park, and tonight's broadcast presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Kyle Lohse back out there. It's 5-4. The Brewers trail by a run. It's been that way since the 4th inning. Down 5-0. The Brewers scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th. And all 0 cents as Lohse flips up a curveball on Matt Carpenter. Strike 1. Looking ahead to the Milwaukee 9th. Maldonado, Schaefer, and then the pitcher spot scheduled to hit. We'll see what Counsell wants to do. In the meantime, Lohse trying to get him there, only down 1. That ball's deep into center field. Logan Schaefer will watch this one bounce up and out. And Matt Carpenter having a big night. That's his 3rd hit. 2 doubles and a home run and a walk.
They had a fastball that was up in the zone. It had the corner, but it was up, and Matt Carpenter, too good of a hitter to miss that. Hammers that one out of here on 1 hop. So the Cardinals looking to extend their lead. That's a big run right there.
Second time he's led off an inning with a double. Did it in the 1st as well. Here's Piscotty. A lot of lopsided games today in the big leagues. Rangers beat the Astros 14-3. Blue Jays 9-1 over the Braves. These are all finals. Marlins shut out the Mets 6-0. Boston beat Baltimore 10-1. Nationals a 10-run win over Philly 12-2. The old plus minus was significantly favoring the winners tonight.
Man, close one in Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, they're in the bottom of the 11th now. Pirates batting 2-2 game. Cubs Pirates. Pirates able to tie that game in the 8th inning. Jam shot, pop up. Jeanette is calling for it. Carpenter's going to tag. And Jeanette quickly unloads it. Keeps Carpenter at second base. That's important.
Yeah, that's a good out for Lohse. Get the out. Carpenter has to stay at second. But you got some tough customers coming up.
1 away. Hayward will bat. Let's get an update from the Brewers AA club in the Southern League Finals and the playoffs. The Biloxi Shuckers. What's going on down there, Sophia?
A final score in Game 1. It's a 7-2 victory for the Shuckers. And Jorge Lopez had a great night on the mound. 7 innings, 1 run for him on 4 hits, just 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts on 110 pitches. Of course, Arcia, big night at the plate as well. So Game 2 tomorrow night at MGM Park, and they'll have first pitch at 7:10. They'll send Adrian Hauser to the mound.
All right, thank you, Sophia. There are the particulars on that one. Jorge Lopez, what a year he's had. Southern League Pitcher of the Year.
Another home run for Arcia. Wow.
Here's Hayward. Takes a ball inside.
You know, the amazing thing about that season for Biloxi, you know, the way they started, all those road games.
What was it, 55 in a row?
Something like that. Crazy. Stadium wasn't ready, and every game, first couple of months, on the road.
Well, they are 2 wins away from a Southern League title. Good for them. It's good to keep a ball club together, and you wonder how many of those players are going to arrive in the big leagues together. How many teammates from AA will be teammates in the big leagues? Big part of developing talent to get to the big leagues is winning.
Getting that winning feeling in the clubhouse. Guys winning together, coming up together.
Two 2-0 the count on Hayward. Had a 2-run home run last night in the 10th inning that gave the Cardinals the lead for good.
I think Lohse thinking that Carpenter's giving signs to Hayward. Lohse Cardinal, he knows how they operate. Teams do that. Loesch was motioning to Carpenter, looking at him. Carpenter put the hands up like, I'm not doing anything. And so they changed the signs.
Well, now Hayward doesn't have a chance. There's a strike. See? Sign stealing is part of the American pastime.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got guys in the dugout looking at third base coach, seeing if they can pick something up on steals, bunts, those types of things. And always got players out at second base looking in to see those signs to see if they're too simple. If they're too easy. Only takes a few pitches to determine what a guy's throwing.
Back in the Tony La Russa era, Cardinals were so paranoid that the Brewers were stealing signs, they went to multiple signs with nobody on base. Didn't have to have a runner at second base. 3 balls and a strike on Hayward.
There were a lot of accusations flying around back in those days.
Sure, most of them were true.
Yeah, sure. Ribbon board's too bright when they're hitting.
Loesch knows them all. There's ball 4. So Hayward draws the walk. Loesch being very careful with Jason Hayward.
Yeah, why not? Set up the double play. Try to get out of this inning without a run scoring.
Got Peralta coming up.
Surprised they didn't just put him on anyway.
(5-4). Cardinals lead it in the 9th inning. And a leadoff double by Carpenter. And now 2 on with 1 away. Peralta is hitless tonight. He's 0 for 4 and struck out his last time up.
And Peralta has grounded into 21 double plays this year. That's why you walk Hayward, set up the double play.
And that skips away from Maldonado. And Maldonado trying to save it before it goes into the dugout.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
He almost made it worse by trying to, if he kicks that into the dugout, Carpenter will probably just round third. He might try to score.
That and the fact that he throws it from the dugout, you can't do that either. You got to come out of the dugout to make
a throw, right?
Yeah.
We saw that earlier this year in Chicago with Anthony Rizzo.
Right. They're going to walk Peralta now. Why not?
So after the wild pitch, they'll put Peralta on and face Yadier Molina.
And nobody getting loose in that Brewers bullpen. All quiet.
So Peralta is aboard. Bases loaded now. 1 man out. Loesch will face Yadier Molina, who is also a double play candidate and has been a struggling hitter tonight. He has struck out the last 3 times. It's only the 4th time in his career he has 3 strikeouts in a game. Hasn't happened to him since 2013. A wave and a miss.
Man, 2 times last night.
One and one. Loesch working in his 2nd inning. Brewers have gotten great work out of their bullpen. Cravey went 2 scoreless. Cesar Jimenez struck out the side in his lone inning. And now Loesch, after a scoreless 8th, working in the 9th, but he's in trouble. Bases loaded, 1 away. And Molina fouls it away. 1-2 the count.
A good pitch to hit a slider down the middle. Behind even the slider. No, he's going good. There's nobody better in going to right field than Molina.
Loesch looking for a ground ball here. Now Hayward at second base. The 1-2. 2-2 now. That's the scene. Had a double from Carpenter to lead the inning. He's over at third. And then back-to-back walks. Peralta was an intentional walk. 2-2. Molina swings and misses. Struck him out. The 4th K of the night for Yadier Molina. The 2nd out of the inning.
It's like Haley's Comet just saw right there. I mean, 4 punch outs from Molina behind everything tonight.
That is something that has never happened in the illustrious career of Yadier Molina. The first time he has ever struck out 4 times in a game.
And behind the Loesch fastball at about 91 miles an hour.
So 2 outs. Here's Colton Wong now. There's 1 out of 3 with a walk. He scored twice. High fly ball, center field, playable. Schaefer's under it, and Kyle Loesch will strand the bases loaded. Brewers coming up, down a run, bottom of the 9th. To the bottom of the 9th, last call for the Brew Crew. They are down a run to the Cardinals. Made a great comeback in the 4th inning, scoring 4 runs in a game that was 5-0 leading up to that inning. A 3-run homer by Maldonado, and it's been that way since the 4th. And Adam Lind will hit in this inning. Trevor Rosenthal is on to try to save it. Picked up number 44 in last night's game. He's looking for number 45 tonight. He's one of the best in the business.
Yeah, boy, Mark Melancon has more saves in the National League. He's only blown 2. 44 out of 46. He's allowed only 1 home run. And more strikeouts and innings pitched. He picked up a save in last night's game.
Rosenthal second to Melancon. Melancon in the Cubs, or in the Pirates, and extra innings with the Cubs tonight. We'll give you an update on that one in a moment. Adam Lind will pinch hit. Brewers down 1. Lind takes a strike from Rosenthal. And a couple of lefties coming up. Lind and then Logan Schaefer. Kyle Loesch stranding the bases loaded. Man, look who's got a bat in his hands. Ryan Braun. Out of the lineup tonight with a tight back. And Braun, who we thought might not even be available tonight, may come on and swing it here in this 9th inning.
He got the pitcher spot coming up 3rd.
Brewers got down early. Needing 1 to tie, 2 to win it here in the 9th inning. One-two pitch, and Lynn fouls it away.
99 with the fastball.
Yeah, he hit 100 last night. And a big arm. Rosenthal, an all-star for the first time this year. 45 saves last season, sitting on 44 this season. Little off-speed pitch missed down and in. Almost. Good take by Lynn.
Throw a slider. He will flip up a changeup up there once in a while as well.
Boy, that did miss.
No.
That was a strike. Lynn got a break. See if he can make something of it. And a wave and a miss. Went right back to it. So Lynn, a strikeout victim. That's the thing about Rosenthal. He's got the big power, but he's a pitcher. He's not just a thrower. He's got multiple pitches that he can use in any count.
Good changeup. You saw the changeup at 89 miles an hour that time. Not afraid to throw it. He will throw it at any time.
Logan Schaefer now. Even though Rosenthal saved 45 games last year, he has improved significantly on his walks. His walks are down about 2 per 9 innings. A little over 2. He still walks more than he wants. Walks about 3 batters per 9 innings, but he strikes out nearly 11 per 9 innings. The foul ball. 0-2 the count. Let's give you an update from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. The Chicago Cubs in the 12th inning in a 2-2 tie. Anthony Rizzo, great sliding catch by Marte. But a run scores, and the Cubs on a sacrifice fly from Rizzo take a 3-2 lead in the 12th inning, and they are fired up in that Cubs dugout. Down he goes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rosenthal. And I think the same pitch produced both of the Ks.
And not going to use Ryan Braun. It's going to be Ashley.
Well, this would be a moment. Evan Ashley looking for his first home run. Ryan Braun still hanging around on deck.
Taking the gloves off.
Feeling like more of a decoy right now than.
I'm not sure why you would do it. They're not going to make any pitching changes. Maybe try to get himself loose. Just couldn't do it. If you're going to use Ryan Braun, this is the time to do it.
So Nevin Ashley quickly down 0-2. Rosenthal has thrown 12 pitches, 10 of them for strikes.
And one he threw for a strike was called a ball.
0-2 the count. And a fastball at 99 missed. Ashley looking for another moment. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2 now. 31-year-old Nevin Ashley, Indiana native. 25-year-old Rosenthal. 2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Trevor Rosenthal strikes out the side. The Cardinals win again. Back-to-back victories over the Brewers. Mike Matheny and the Cardinals with their 91st win. They're 91-54. Big night from Tommy Pham. 15 total bases, or 11 total bases, I should say. 2 homers and a triple tonight. And the Cardinals have won the first 2 in the series. Time for Brewers Live. Let's check in with Craig Kashawn and Davey Nelson standing by down the right field line.
Okay, B.A., thanks very much. We're going to hear from Craig Counsell, as we always do, get you set for tomorrow's game as well. Tight one here again from Miller Park. Cardinals grab the first 2 games of this series.